Well, just when I thought I'd heard pretty much everything there was to say on the whole COVID vaccine situation, it turns out I was mistaken. There's more. There seems to be always more. All right, so the last 2 years have been pretty rough for most of us, if not all of us. We've lived through what can only be described as an unprecedented situation, an unprecedented set of circumstances to do with the whole virus, which came from a place in China, which for a long time we couldn't even mention it here on YouTube. Otherwise there'd be lights flashing, sirens would be going off, there'd be people breaking down your door. It was a disaster. You might even lose your channel if you mentioned it. It was a disaster. It'd probably get flagged still. But the whole COVID thing, just when you thought, okay, it's still around, it's still knocking about, but the main hot button issue situation is gone. It's no longer front and centre of every morning's newspaper, of every news bulletin's segment. You might have thought that, and you'd be right to think that, because yes, life has opened up again, businesses back to normal, people are going about their daily lives. Now, as I said, it's still there, and I'm not minimising it for a second. It's a bad dose. It's a bad dose if you get it, and I know people who have it, and I know people who've had it recently, and it's no fun. There's no fun, and if you've got other stuff going on, like was always the case, it's very, very dangerous, and you have to be very careful with this kind of thing. Now, and I'm not going to jump in I'm not going to get into the weeds as regards the vaccines, the boosters, Moderna versus Pfizer, and all that sort of stuff, and whether you had it, whether you didn't have it, and all that. That's all gone. We fought those battles. It was a rough time for everybody, and I make no judgment. I make no judgment call on anyone's decision whether they decided to have the vaccine or have multiple vaccines and are boosting themselves into oblivion. That's fine. Good for you. I'm all for it. I'm right there with you. But also I make no judgment for the people who, for their own reasons or perhaps on medical advice, did not partake of the vaccine. And I realise that's a small number of people, especially in this part of the world. The vast majority of people signed up for the shot, and you know, they went on with their lives, and the world has now gotten on with its life. But just when you thought, okay, it's now reduced to kind of like the flu or other stuff that floats around in the depth of winter when we're all freezing our knackers off. So there's more. There's always more. And today I'm going to show you what more I found, because I wasn't even looking for it and I found it anyway. So it seems now, according to Fortune, Fortune Well, this is from Aaron Prater. It's just a story out a couple of days ago, so we're hot off the press here, and it's pushing us right back into the weeds again. People, says Aaron, people who skip their COVID vaccine are at higher risk of traffic accidents. What? According to a new traffic accidents. What? I mean, I thought I'd heard it all. I mean, I'd heard everything from, you know, if you don't get the vaccine, you'll have 7 years of bad luck, to if you don't get the vaccine, your penis will fall off. I mean, I've heard it all. I thought I had. I thought I'd heard everything, you know. No. Seems if you didn't, and you won't, and you don't want to get the vaccine, you're in danger. You're a traffic accident waiting to happen. According to Aaron Prater. So what? There's a woman there who's obviously had a bad day. Looks like a bit of whiplash there. That's a handy 15 grand. No, sorry. No. There's a concerned paramedic there. I'm sure I hope that works out well for you. I'm not sure if she was unvaccinated or not. I don't know. Won't make a judgment call on that. Anyway, let's read on with Erin here and see what she has to tell us. If you passed on getting the COVID vaccine, if you're one of those people, I don't know what the percentage is, it's a small enough percent over here, you might be a lot more likely to get into a car crash, heaven forbid, or at least those are the findings of a new study published this month in the American Journal of Medicine. That's a heavy hitter of a journal. So it's not just something somebody wrote in a toilet wall. This is actually serious stuff. It's a real study. During the summer of 2021, Canadian researchers examined the encrypted government-held records of more than 11 million adults. That's a big study. 16% of whom hadn't received the Covid vaccine. That's in Canada. I think it's way less here in Ireland. It's like, I don't know, 3 or 4% or something like that. Didn't get the vaccine. So, well, that's good from a car crash point of view, I guess. They found, this is the people doing the study, they found that the unvaccinated people were 72% more likely to be involved in a severe traffic crash. So it's not just a fender bender, this is full on, in which at least one person was transported to the hospital than those who were vaccinated. That's similar to the increased risk of car crashes for people with sleep apnea, people who just kind of conk out, fall asleep at the drop of a hat. So you're up there with those people. That's not good. Though only about half that of people who abuse alcohol, researchers found. So So if you're unvaccinated, what they're saying here is, listen, be careful, because you're a bit of a traffic hazard. The excess risk of car crash posed by unvaccinated drivers, quote, exceeds the safety gains from modern automobile engineering advances and also imposes risks on other road users. The authors are, well, it would. I mean, if you're in danger of basically having a smash, well, chances are you're going to smash into somebody else who had nothing to do with you and was probably driving very carefully. You're the unvaccinated. You're the risk here. You're the risky party here. You might take somebody with you in your carnage. In your carnage. Of course, skipping a COVID vaccine does not mean that somebody will get into a car crash. Of course it doesn't. Instead, the authors theorise that people who resist public health recommendations might also, quote, neglect basic road safety guidelines. Right, all right. I see where you're going with this. I was just trying to figure out how do we get from deciding not to have a medical intervention, a vaccine, how do we get from that to crashing your car? I mean, I remember the days when you used to take it to, that medicine you get for your cough. You'd be taking a cough bottle, we used to call it, and it'd say on the side of the thing, do not drive or work or operate heavy machinery. Well, back in them days, I never got anywhere near heavy machinery, so that wasn't a problem for me. Come to think of it, I never got anywhere near driving either. But still, so that was a clear link between some medicines, even the over-the-counter medicines, and possibly crashing your car or falling into some heavy machinery, which is equally bad. But I'm right. So what they're saying is that it's the type of person. This is what they're saying essentially. If you're the type of person who has the, let's say, temperament, who has the personality, or that kind of way of seeing the world, that you somehow reasoned that you didn't want to get the vaccination, you didn't trust the vaccination, or you didn't trust the government, or you didn't trust Pfizer, or whatever your beef might be, that you're also the type of person who might just, go off speeding down the road at 200 miles an hour and basically take all collateral road users off with you up to the pearly gates. They're thinking that's the type of person you are, according to this anyway. That's their metric. So are you that type of person, is what they're saying. Why would they ignore the rules of the road? Distrust of the government, a belief in freedom, misconceptions of daily risks, faith in natural protection, antipathy toward regulation, poverty, misinformation, a lack of resources, and personal beliefs are potential reasons proposed by the authors of the study. So they're thinking, right, the type of person who maybe didn't get the vaccination, didn't take the vaccination, well, they're one of these types of people that I've just listed there. The findings are significant enough that primary care doctors should consider counselling unvaccinated patients on traffic safety. What, a doctor telling you about the rules of the road? I'm not sure how that plays up. And insurance companies might base changes to insurance policies on vaccination data, the author suggests. So there you go. Do you see where this could potentially go? You get your next renewal, insurance renewal form from your insurance company, and suddenly there's a new clause. You know the way, like they're just looking for ways to charge you more. They really are. They're looking for ways to charge you more, and so suddenly there's a new box to be ticked. And if you don't tick the box, well, there you go. There's an extra 50 quid on your policy. You see, these things all have real-world consequences. These studies. First responders may also consider taking precautions to protect themselves from COVID when responding to traffic crashes, the authors added, as it's more likely that a driver is unvaccinated than vaccinated. So you see, again, following on from this whole thing, if you're unvaccinated, they reckon you're the type of person who's likely to get into a smash in your motor vehicle. And two, if you're a first responder, a paramedic who's rushing to the scene, well, you should be careful too now, because there's a higher chance that the person that you're going to be trying to dig out of the smashed car won't be vaccinated. There you go. You see, this is the whole domino effect. And you're on the right channel for that. The findings suggest that unvaccinated adults need to be careful indoors with other people and outside with surrounding traffic. So, Jenny Mac, they're really laying it on thick to the unvaccinated there. This isn't the first time that the researchers have examined the link between behaviour and vaccination status among young adults. A 2021 study last year, published in the Journal of Bioeconomics, found a correlation between self-reported risky driving and having skipped their flu vaccine. That's a Janie Mac. So if you skip the flu vaccine, Janie, I don't know. You see, there you go. What do you think of that? Do you see the things I find? I don't even be looking for this stuff. It finds me. So not only are you, if you're a kind of a COVID vaccine refusenik, basically, you watch out. Maybe they'll have people like that wearing a sign or something, so other road users can stay well clear of that car. But no, it's not even just that. If you skip the flu jab, if you skip the flu vaccine, well, they reckon that you're also a wrong one. So not much succor there for the people who are, let's just say, a little bit dubious about some of the big pharma products that are in circulation at the moment. I don't know. I just found it. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm not sure what I think. To be quite honest, as I said, I make no judgment. It's a bad dose. It's not pleasant, and yes, people have died of it. A lot of people have died of this. It's not but people have died of the flu. So, okay, I think make your own decisions based on your own information and your own medical advice. Always seek medical advice on these things, and your own conscience or whatever. But all I'll say to you is, whether you're vaccinated or you're unvaccinated, at this time of year with the icy roads, be careful out there.